Well, we're here. The NBA draft, lottery, the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. I am nervous, so nervous that I had to drink some water before the show started just to kind of cool myself down. I'm sure some of y'all are feeling this too. There's a lot of teams right now that are playing for something. They're playing for championships. This is our championship. If you're a Toronto Raptor fan, winning the number one pick in this draft would be equivalent to, I don't want to say equivalent to winning a championship, but it's certainly, you're going to see me you are going to see me do backflips. I don't even think I can do backflips. We get the number one, but I want to set the record straight that I do not expect the Raptors to get the number one pick. It would be very, very statistically unlikely for the Raptors to get the number one pick. Stranger things have happened though. The Hawks moved up from 9-1 last year. The Raptors moved down from 6-8 last year. Maybe we're due for a little bit of luck, a little bit of history here. The Toronto Raptors have picked high quite a few times in the NBA draft. They have gone from number 7 to number 4 to get Scottie Barnes. We were all very excited about that. Some of y'all wanted Jalen Suggs. You can go to hell. But we got Scottie Barnes that year, and that was a huge one because you could argue you don't move up from 7 to 4, you don't get Scottie Barnes. You probably end up getting Jonathan Kuminga. That would have sucked. The Raptors did move from 5-1 to get Andrea Bargnani, and of course, maybe in a different world, in a different universe, under different coaching, Andrea Bargnani would have turned into something else. But that wasn't a very strong draft. I think we can all agree to that. And then, of course, there was that big draft, the big draft, perhaps the biggest draft in my lifetime, because I wasn't born in 1984. And that was the 2003 draft. And I tell you, for an entire year, I watched LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, knowing the Raptors were going to be bad. I had this feeling. I'm like, Melo to the Raptors. I can feel it. Melo plus Vince Carter. This is going to be elite. I also sold myself on the Darko Milicic dream. Of course, as a Serbian kid, you hear some stuff, but you always thought to yourself, what if the NBA let us have LeBron? That was back then when I was a kid, and I still believe the draft was rigged. And I was like, what if the NBA let us have LeBron? LeBron at point, Vince at the 2, Vince at the 3. We are going to be winning championships. And then, of course, I will never forget Vince Carter going to the draft, seeing his face when it was pulled number 4, and it was the Raptors. So this draft may not be 2003. There's no LeBron James, but there is a big prize at the top of this draft. And there are some good consolation prizes towards the end of this draft. And I tell you, I really want that number 1, but I'm prepared for number 8. I don't know why I keep seeing number 8 in my head. Every time I think about this, I'm like, the Raptors moved down one place at 8. I got good news and I got bad news. Obviously, 8 is not 1, so that's the bad news. The good news is I'm pretty warm, if not hot, on some of these players that could be available at number 8. Players we've talked about in previous drafts videos, like Jeremiah Fears, Carter Bryant, Rasheer Fleming, Colin Murray-Boyles, Khaman Maluach. There's a lot of really good, quote-unquote, consolation prizes who could be upper rotation players for you and maybe even significant contributors to winning in a few years. But if you want a significant contributor to winning right now, there's probably one guy that you're really looking at, and that's Cooper Flagg. So before we get to the draft lottery, now I'm going to do something kind of funny. I've put some plastic bags. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. I can pull this up. Hang on one second. I've put a couple of plastic bags over. Wait, why can't I? Y'all see that? So I'll at least have the same live feed as y'all. Not trying to get a copyright, not trying to get anything, crazy happening to the channel. So those plastic bags are there as a preventative measure over the screen, over the camera, to distort the image a little bit. I do want to talk about a few things before we get to the draft lottery. I have it on pretty good authority that y'all going to be very excited when you see who's at the draft lottery representing the Raptors. Pretty cool. But this is something that happened over the last 2 days, and that is the draft measurements. Now, this is always a very interesting thing. How are players going to measure out? We all have reports on how tall certain players are. We have, maybe dated measurements on how long they are. And there's always some players that measure a little bit better than expectations. And there's some players that measure a little bit worse than expectations. I'll tell you one player who measured maybe a little bit worse than expectations, and that was ironically Cooper Flagg. I genuinely thought he had like a 7'2" wingspan. This doesn't change my thinking at all. Cooper is not going to be successful or unsuccessful because of his lack of 7'2" wingspan, but he felt freakishly larger. But 6'7" and 3/4" without shoes is huge. That's basically 6'9" with shoes with a 7-foot wingspan. That is very good size for the 3 or the 4, and I project that he's going to play some hybrid of those two positions going forward. Dylan Harper, 6'4.5" without shoes. I think that's pretty much exactly where we thought he was going to end up. That's about 6'5.5" with shoes. That's perfectly fine. Ace Bailey at 6'7.5". That one kind of caught me off guard because there were some rumors that Ace Bailey might be 6'10". And I got to tell you, at 6'7.5", so 6'8", basically, I might feel a little bit differently about Ace Bailey than I did. I know it's like 1 inch, but man, that 1 inch could matter. And speaking of 1 inch mattering, pause. We got VJ Edgecombe, 6'4" without shoes. That is about as good as I thought it was ever going to be for him. I was like, man, if he can measure 6'5" and 6'4" without shoes, is 6'5" with shoes, 6'5" is much larger than I thought VJ Edgecombe was going to measure out. Let me be honest. 6'5" with a 6'7.5" wingspan, that's pretty decent. It's not great. It's not quite D-Wade in terms of the wingspan, but it's pretty damn good. It's decent size for a 2 guard when you factor in his athleticism. He's not going to be crazy undersized. That's roughly about, minus a little bit of wingspan, about how big Ochai Agbaji is. So, it eases some of people's fears maybe when you see him. You know what I mean? Moving on, Jeremiah Fears, 6'2.5" without shoes. That's right around where I thought it would be. 6'5" wingspan, maybe not where I wanted it to be. Trey Johnson, 6'4 3/4" without shoes. That's roughly, I think that's almost like RJ Barrett territory, 6'7", 6'10" 1/4" wingspan. That's pretty decent. Khaman Maluach measuring 7'1" without shoes is pretty great. 7'6" 3/4" wingspan is what gets you excited. And maybe if you're a Raptor fan, doesn't get you super excited, because I'll tell you, there were some rumors out there that he had about a 7'4" wingspan. 7'7" is really pushing Mo Bamba territory now. Now you're really, really moving into like freakish measurements. This dude is 7'2" with shoes with a 7'7" wingspan. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Some of these guys measuring not so great and him measuring great. I'm going to tell you, there's probably some draft analysts out there that are probably putting Khaman Maluach over Ace Bailey right now because of that. Okay. Someone said, what shoes give you an extra inch? Almost every basketball shoe gives you an extra inch, my guy. An inch? Yeah, an inch. It's like 7. Yeah. Like what? I'm about 5. Yeah, for sure. For sure. 1 inch? Yeah. You get about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch and 1/4 from every basketball shoe you have. Okay. I think you get about 1.5 inches if you have like Tim's or something. Anyways, Con Canoopel, I think 6'5" without shoes is right around where I saw him. I didn't have him having like a big wingspan. I'm going to tell you right now, this doesn't feel like a very Raptors-y prospect. That 6'6" and 1/4 wingspan kind of puts him on the very low end. The Raptors have traditionally moved away from guys like this. Kasparas Yakuchonis, roughly 6'5" without shoes. That's pretty much where I thought he'd be. Colin Murray-Boyles, I'm very happy he measured north of 6'6" without shoes, because I'll tell you, there was some thought that he might go 6'5.5", but good wingspan for him. Yegor Demon, I suspected he'd be huge. He is 6'8 and 1/4, puts him as bigger than Cooper Flagg. Jace Richardson was the big loser of this entire thing. 6'1.5" without shoes. My God, man. I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but that's a 2-guard at the next level who's 6'1.5" without shoes. I mean, he looked a little bit small. That wingspan will save him a little bit, but this almost primarily puts him as a point guard at the NBA level. That's going to be really, really tough. Will Riley, huge. Danny Wolf, right around where I expected, but the 7'2" wingspan does help some of those defensive concerns. Another bit of a loser, I would say, of this measurement stuff is probably Carter Bryant. The rumor around Carter Bryant was 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. I got to tell you, at 6'6.5" without shoes, so 7'7.5" without shoes at around a 7-foot wingspan, I would say he probably measured on the lower end of where I was expecting him to. So that kind of sucks for Carter Bryant. And maybe, helps him fall maybe to 13 or 14. I don't know. Ace Newell definitely measured a little bit smaller than expected. Liam McNeely measured a little bit smaller than expected. I was expecting him to measure, You know what? 6'6" and 3/4 becomes a little disingenuous because that's basically 6'7". That's around where I saw him. Thomas Sorber is another huge winner of the draft combine. Rumors were 7'2" wingspan, 6'10". That's big. That's big for a center. But measuring in with a 7'6" wingspan with 6'10" roughly in shoes, you're very, very much alleviated of any concerns that Thomas Sorber might be a little bit undersized at the NBA level. That's pretty big. Okay. Moving forward, Neek Clifford measured in right around where I expected him to, maybe a little bit smaller on the wingspan side. He felt bigger. Walter Clayton, bless the measurements, man. 6'2" without shoes, 6'4" wingspan. That's pretty decent. Rasheer Fleming measured out huge, man. 7'5" and 1/4 wingspan for a wing big prospect, a 3-4 prospect is pretty damn huge. That I'll say. Also, Thomas Sorber at 62 pounds is absolutely enormous. I'm very curious to see where his body fat percentage was. Adu Thero, another prospect that I really like. We can talk about some of the deeper prospects in this draft. He measured out pretty decently, although a little bit smaller than I would have expected. I was expecting him to be closer to 6'7", but 6'6" and 1/4 is fine. Cedric Coward, right around where I thought, but that wingspan of 7'2" and 1/4, this suddenly seems very appealing if he ends up falling a little bit in the draft for the Raptors. Maxime Reynaud, right around where I thought he'd be. 7 feet. I thought he was a legit 7-footer. He looked huge when I saw his pictures next to Dirk Nowitzki. I think the wingspan is right around where I expected as well. Derek Queen measures out with a 7'1/2" wingspan with a 6'9" without shoes. I'd say that's pretty much where I thought he'd be as well. Any other, ones that really stuck out? Yes, Ryan Cockbrenner, 7'1" without shoes with a 7'6" wingspan, and that jump shot is, oh my goodness. I think Ryan Cockbrenner just worked himself into the top 20. Alex Condon, I'm not a fan, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Raptors draft Alex Condon at 39, you can miss me with that shit. I'm not a fan. I really hope someone picks him before and someone else falls probably closer. I also want to mention that one of my favorite undrafted targets, which is Mackenzie Mbako from Indiana, he's actually been invited from the G League camp to the NBA draft combine. Really think that he's an undrafted target for the Raptors if that does happen. Now, this whole thing has started. I'll try to keep it off the screen as much as I can, but I can see it on my end. So definitely when the draft proceedings start, we can definitely have that happen. I'm actually going to drop a call-in link. I didn't put it in the description, but I'll put it in here just in case somebody wants to call in. Maybe if y'all have some thoughts, I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. But certainly there's your call-in link. Josh Dimitri saying caravan coming home, baby. Well, John, I will tell you, I don't think Cockbrenner is going to last till 39. I think his latest target prior to the measurements coming out as good as they did for him, I would say he's probably one of the biggest winners. He, Thomas Sorber, and Rasheer Fleming are probably the biggest winners of this entire combine process. There's always winners and losers. Jace Richardson is probably the biggest loser of this entire process. I don't know where Jace Richardson falls. Some people have had him as high as the lottery. I could certainly see at 6 feet. I could certainly see him considering going back to school, maybe preying on a growth spurt, but I could certainly see him falling into the late teens, early 20s as well. He's a very good player, but at that size, typically teams tend to shy away. Someone asked if I am showing the live. Yes, absolutely. I will show as much of it as humanly possible. Is there usually spoilers? I can't remember if Shams Woj spoiled the picks. Well, they don't typically spoil this because it's usually pretty instantaneous and it is happening live. I don't think that they've spoiled it in the past. They typically spoil draft picks because that's not instantaneous. There's usually, so the way the draft picks work is obviously in your war room, you make the call, right? And everyone in your war room knows who the call was made to. And at that point, probably someone in your war room tips off Shams. Shams is then able to tweet it out as fast as humanly possible before the call is completed with Adam Silver. And then Adam Silver does his little song and dance and comes out to the stage and lets the world know. So there's usually about a 1 minute lag between when Shams is able to break a pick and when the pick is actually broken. But there's already like 85 to 90 people in the world who already know what the pick is before the world does. And here, there aren't 80 to 90 people in the world who know who's won the draft beforehand, right? So it doesn't make sense for them to be breaking it. I am actually quite scared too. Vegan Grass saying I'm prepared for number 10. I am not prepared for number 10, my friend. If number 10 happens, that means 3 teams behind us jumped. That I'm not prepared for. I'll tell you, the only saving grace of us being at 10 is that Philly's going to lose their pick. I want 2 things to happen, and this might sound petty. I want the Raptors to do top 4, to be top 4. Ideally, number 1 would be great. And I want Philly to fall out. Ironically, because the Raptors are behind Philly, the Raptors moving up to the top 4 actually pushes Philly down 1 spot. Now, all we would need is for the Raptors and the Spurs, or the Raptors and the Bulls, or the Raptors and the Heat, or whoever. Armin saying number 10 is miserable. Honestly, man, I have mocked out every scenario of this 10, 9, 8, 7, whatever. We've looked at all the percentages. And while I would be severely disappointed with number 10, I also would tell you that this is the type of draft where at number 10 you can still get a really good player. I'm pretty sure Colin Murray-Boyles and Rasheer Fleming will both be on the board at 10. And they're both players who can actually play for you next year, right? Billy saying calling it now, we're getting 4th. I feel like we're going to get 8. I'd be much happier with 4. I'd be much, much happier with 1. So I'm just going to sit here and really just visualize the number 1. I encourage y'all to see it with me. And I'm going to let you know, because the whole thing is revealed in reverse order. So I'm going to drop the call-in link as well in case somebody wants to call in case some of y'all are not at work and you just want to, Rayan, y'all just spam number 1s. Just spam number 1s. Spam the number you want to come true in the chat. Just go for it. FA saying Fleming is not going top 10. How do you know? With a damn near 7'6" wingspan and the positional versatility to play the guard, I certainly see that. The YouTube expert saying 10. You are so close to getting banned. Don't put that shit on us. Don't put that shit on us. Don't say 10. Are you crazy? Now, as I say that, now I feel like I'm reverse jinxing us, and we're going to end up at 10. LeVar Ball saying 11. You must be a fan of mathematical impossibilities, because that's not possible. Man, you know what, YouTube expert, if we end up with 10, you're banned. Straight up. Ban. Automatic ban. You understand how hard we had to work for this? You understand 82 games of suffering to get through this, all to fall back 3 positions a year after falling back 2 positions? I might legitimately believe the Raptors are cursed if that happens. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't be crazy now. Jeez. What kind of a fan? All right. Give this video a like if you want the Raptors to get a top 4 pick. That really helps the algorithm a lot. There have been, okay, yeah. So there's the 5 call-ups. It's pretty decent. Here are the draft odds for anyone who is curious. These are the draft odds. The Raptors have 7.5% chance. Hey, FA's calling in. FA, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me? Okay. So the draft show has started, as you can see on my blurry TV.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me? FA, you might want to try to call back in. Yeah. So the reveal starts in about 5 minutes. The Toronto Raptors have a certain president who is at the proceedings. Would you send Masai to fall back 3 spots? I don't know. I will say Masai is not there alone. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, from a perspective, like, is it a good sign or a bad sign that Masai is there? On the one hand, it might be a good sign because you could say, well, who better to have the photo op on the number one pick than the president who brought the Raptors their first championship? That's one way of looking at it. On the other hand, on the other hand, you could also look at it, bro, show the video. I'm not trying to get copyright strike for you watching commercials, man. There's nothing to watch right now. So when they do the reveal, I will show the video. Yo, what's going on?
I'm good. Sorry, my mic wasn't working earlier.
Okay,
How's,
I hear
how's
you.
it going?
It's
Yeah.
going. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit nervous.
I'm not nervous at all because of the measurements. I think wherever we end, we're gonna get a really good player.
Yeah, but I mean, can we agree that you'd rather pick 7 than 9, and you'd rather pick 7 than 10, and you'd rather pick 4 than 7?
I rather let me tell you what I want to pick. I rather one, two, three, or seven. It, the reason why I'm really not big on four. I don't want to pick VJS Tom, even though I know.
Well, you would have first dibs on Khaman Maluach at number 4 if you did that.
Oh yeah, I'll reach for him.
I
Because
mean,
I really want to swing for the fences.
you want to swing for the fences? Go draft Carter
Yeah,
Bryant number 2.
his measurement is not that wow.
Mm, but yeah, that's true, man. I
And the and,
really
and the wingspan, even Jeremiah Fears wasn't too. I think Trey Johnson is gonna go really high.
Trey Johnson because of his
Yeah,
wingspan.
6'6" with shoes and wingspan of 6'10", and like yeah, and I heard he's been killing workouts. So
Mm, yeah, he is destroying workouts. I will say that,
yeah,
but I will say workouts are pretty much created for players like Trey Johnson.
yeah, but he did well in college, broke Kevin Durant's record, and did well in college.
I just worry about him defensively, man. I really do. I think the
That
concerns are
that
very
yeah,
serious. What do you think
that
about
is
Ace
my pick.
Bailey's work? What do you think about Ace Bailey's measurements? I mean, look, man, we were
It's,
thinking he was 6'10", legit.
I knew it wasn't system when I signed with T-Mac. When
So
yeah,
six
after
seven and a half,
after
though.
sorry,
Were you expecting 6'7" and a half?
I was expecting 6'8", but give and
I
take
mean, with
6'7"
shoes,
and a
he
half.
is 6'8".
Which shoes is 6'10"? It's 6'9", sorry, 6'9".
No, he's 6'7" and 3/4. Okay, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
if you have
yeah.
big shoes, he's six
So
nine.
six. But the
He might
wingspan
still
is
be
impressive,
growing.
right? But the wingspan is impressive, so 7.5.
Well, if his wingspan is impressive, what is Thomas Sorber's wingspan?
This
Godly,
is
godly,
great,
7'6",
great.
man.
I think Thomas Saba is gonna be in the teens. It's gonna might move to between 12 to 16. It depends on the injury, right?
If he's healthy, he might go lottery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He should.
Like a team like Atlanta, Miami. I mean, maybe not Miami because they just
No,
picked
not
Joe Harris,
Miami
but
anymore. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Is there enough time for us to do another tankathon sim? Is this too late now? No, let me do a tankathon sim. Okay. So if the Raptors get number 1 in the next 5 spins, I'm gonna consider it a very good omen. Okay. Go 1, we move down to 8. 2, stay at 7. 3, 8, 4, 4, 5, 1. Ah, 9. Okay. That's not a good omen. But you know what? A different way of looking at this, we got all the bad juju out of the way in the mock draft. We got all the
I,
we got all
I'm,
the
I'm I'm not worried at all on Pete because if we fall to 7-8 and Malawash is there, I'll go for him. Or I'll reach for Rashad Fleming. That height and the size is like 6'10" in shoes with
Mhm,
that wingspan. I see him like I don't want to compare him to Kawhi, but I see him like a kind of Kawhi-like player.
mhm.
He shot 40% from three. I think he's gonna move up in the draft, to be honest.
Yeah. Jaden saying, just relax, live in the moment. Bro, save your Buddhist shit for somebody else. We're allowed to be a little bit nervous right now. Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
bring on
not, I'm not
Okan
nervous.
Maluach. Okan Maluach. I'm assuming this is Okan, but
Yep.
you change your last name to Maluach just as a good luck charm. What's up?
Yes, sir. I mean, I texted you before. I said I actually drafted Jacoby Walter in 2K the year we drafted Jacoby.
So
Also,
where did you draft this year?
pick. And now I drafted Maluach in 2K as well this year.
Oh,
A
oh,
couple of
great.
so
That's a good one, man.
yeah, I actually believe in this luck right now.
Okay. I think James Richardson is gonna fall to the 20s.
Yep, I can feel it. I can certainly
Six
feel it.
that height in this day and age.
JLA Media saying not drafting no number 7-2 guy who can't get a rebound in 40 minutes. Let's not live and die for one game.
One game.
Come
One
on now.
game. Seriously.
Let's just let's not be crazy here. All right. Man, I am nervous. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be more nervous about this than I was about like maybe game 3 Milwaukee. Like very nervous. They're showing everybody. And
It's saying that
we can't really
the
see their
dream.
faces because everything's blurred out. Thank God for copyright. But yes. I genuinely feel like I want to be able to see this. I'm recording it so that I can go back and watch it after. Armin saying, "Are you more nervous this year or last year?" Last year, I told y'all we were losing our pick. I basically walked into the draft lottery and I was like, "We're gonna lose our pick, guys." I thought we were gonna lose our pick last year. It felt like we were gonna, but anyways,
I think last year I was glad we lost the pick.
yeah. I mean, imagine going through this hell this year, right? We would have had to be so bad this year to prevent that situation from happening. We would have had to compete with the Wizards for the worst pick. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, I would have preferred to dump a worse pick. Like, I would have rather gotten rid of an 18th pick, but it doesn't really matter. Once somebody else takes it, it's somebody else's.
Masai is representing us.
Yeah. I feel like I could probably get away with removing one layer of cellophane that I put on this and make it a little clearer for us so we're not all blind. Or maybe I can try to make it a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can pull it off. I mean, that does make it a little bit bigger. I can see that's either Zoom Williamson or Zion Williamson. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try to remove one of these layers. I'm gonna be back in like a minute, guys. Hang on.
Here you go. Oh. Here comes a pig.
Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay. I am a little bit nervous. Liban saying, why is Zion representing them? He's getting traded. Well, he doesn't know that yet. Okay. I'm gonna ask y'all to keep yourselves on mute. Okay. Are we about at the reveal stage? We are. We're getting there. It's still blurred enough that I don't think it's going to trigger copyright. Spurs get number 14. Okay. That's the first one. Okay. Atlanta Hawks get number 13. So far, I believe the order is the same. Yes. Nobody has moved up yet. Okay. The Bulls get number 12. Okay. Nobody's moved up yet. Just a reminder to anyone who failed grade 4 math. If no one moves up before us, we can't fall down. Dallas has moved up. Did Dallas just move up?
Yes, they just moved up.
There you go. Fuck. I told y'all this was gonna happen. This is the concession prize for giving Luka to the fucking Lakers. Fuck. Does that mean Portland just moved up? Yo, did Portland just move up? Did they already announce the Raptors?
9th.
Damn.
Philly in top 4. Philly, San Antonio, Dallas in the top 4. Utah Jazz 5th. we got the worst pick, man.
We literally moved down 2 spots in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
It has to be scripted.
If Dallas gets the number 1 pick, I swear to God.
What about Philly? I think Flash should just stay in Charlotte.
How is Dallas top 4?
Okay, so who remains in the top 4?
Dallas,
San Antonio,
San Antonio.
Sixers,
Philly,
and
Wow. Spurs again.
and
Woo.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Hornets,
So-
Sixers, Spurs, and Dallas.
You know what's interesting? If the play-in doesn't happen,
I
and the
told you
Dallas
Philly's gonna
Mavericks
pick
don't
it.
lose in the play-in, Dallas moved from 11 to the top 4.
That is insane.
Unbelievable. Oh man. Yeah. You know what? I don't usually prescribe to the idea that the NBA draft is rigged, but Dallas
yeah.
moving from 11
Yeah.
to top 4,
Yeah.
especially if they get number 1. Unbelievable. The only thing I want to not happen right now is for Philly to get the number 1 pick.
Please.
If that happens, I'm gonna crash out.
I just log out. Seriously. The only team I want to get number 1 pick now is Charlotte. Like, why would Spurs go with Wembanyama and Cooper? Come on.
I honestly, man, like AO Gorman saying ban that guy regardless. Honestly, he's very close. He's very close. He may just.
Yeah.
You said, dude said 10. We ended up at fucking 9. Okay.
Disaster results.
Carter Bryant, learn Canadian, brother. Okay.
I think Russia Fleming for me. There's no way this guy's not falling to 9. Khaman Maluach.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Khaman
No.
falls to number 9. Not after how he just measured. We just lost.
Yeah.
We just lost.
Mhm.
Even 7 was going to be a really big stretch. So
Yeah.
now we are in Noah Sengay, Carter Bryant, maybe Jeremiah Fears, maybe
Thomas Saba.
Ron Temple,
Fears would be
Thomas
nice if
Sorber.
he falls.
Hmm?
Fears would be nice if he falls.
Fears would be interesting. I sort of wonder about how I see the fit, and also he's just not, in my opinion, going to be very NBA ready right away. He's
The
going to
heights.
majorly like with the physicality of the league, and he's going to get hunted defensively. He's going to be borderline unplayable for a little bit. I think he could end up being good. I don't think I'd be super happy at the draft if our only lottery pick is Jeremiah Fears. That would suck.
Fair enough.
Oh my god.
I just want to see the first pick right now. If it's Sixers,
Who do you want to get the first pick right now?
Charlotte.
yeah, Charlotte makes the most sense out of the 4 teams.
Okay. So here's what I want to happen for Cooper. For Cooper's sake. For Cooper's sake, I'd rather yeah, like for the best version of Cooper Flagg. I would want him to go to the Spurs.
Yeah.
Or the Dallas Mavericks?
Mavericks, maybe it will be more like
Him and
competing
AD
right
would be
now.
like a really interesting combo.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
also you got to feel a little bit of empathy for the Dallas Mavericks, not the ownership, not the management, but for the fans. This would
At
be a
least,
huge.
at least Utah Jazz got number 5 pick, so
I'm saying if they get the first pick, they will start calling Nico Harrison a genius now.
I mean, imagine having your cake and eating it too, going to the playoffs, having a chance at the playoffs, being in the play-in, losing in the play-in, and because you lost in the play-in, you get all this, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I'll mute myself.
Honestly, once you take Charlotte out of this equation, there are no really bad spots for Cooper. Obvious, stupid Nick Nurse. Ugh. Okay.
Charlotte, the 4th pick.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay, thank God. Look, no offense, FA. I don't want Cooper Flagg in Charlotte. And by the way, this also minimizes his chance.
Philadelphia 76. Okay.
Oh man,
The
please.
guy is really. Dallas number 1 pick is rigged. Dallas is rigged, man. It's rigged.
No way.
It is rigged, man. After
Nah.
what happened to? Come on,
You can't make that up.
you can't make it up. It's rigged, man. I'm sorry.
Come on.
It's
And the
rigged after
Sixers get
Luka.
number 2.
Who?
The Sixers
They
got
have
number 2.
1.8%.
No, they got number 3.
Oh my God,
Okay.
1.8%.
So the Spurs got number 2.
Yeah.
So wow. Okay, so
So it got interesting, right? What are they gonna pick number 2? They have too many point guards.
wow. So with number 2, okay, I mean, let's just figure out who's drafting who. Number 1, obviously, the Dallas Mavericks.
Flag.
You know, they take
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg, and now I'm really pissed because Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic would have been fucking crazy. But think about it this way: if you
They
kept,
wouldn't have gotten. They
if
wouldn't
you kept
get the.
Luka, you
Yeah.
wouldn't have had a draft pick. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is blood money, man. The NBA just paid the Dallas Mavericks back for that beautiful little,
Yeah.
gift that they gave. God damn it.
LeBron.
I didn't want to believe it was rigged, man, but that feels damn rigged. Okay.
The draft is rigged, man.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Cooper Flagg goes to the Dallas fucking Mavericks. Unbelievable. Okay, cool. Good for him. Good situation. Cool. Gonna play with Kyrie Irving at some point. Gonna play with AD. He's gonna compete for championships right away. Let's be honest. They thought this team was gonna be a championship contender. He's gonna form a front line. And by the way, he's very Luka-ish in a sense. He's a big playmaker, but he's a way better defender. And you know what? Think about the basketball gods. What did Nico Harrison say? Defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. They sacrificed one of the greatest players of all time to the Lakers in the name of defense. And they got one of the best defensive prospects in NBA history. There you go.
So who goes number 2?
So number 2, if I'm San Antonio, this is the weirdest Dylan Harper fit because of the shooting, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The way I would look at it, what if
I think they'll go trade
San
Johnson.
Antonio trades this? What if San Antonio trades number 2 and De'Aaron Fox for Giannis?
They're not trading for. Oh, Giannis wants to go to a team without state tax, right? Without state tax, so.
Well, San Antonio doesn't have state tax, my friend.
San Antonio, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that would be great for them, and I think they would trade it. Number 3, Philly, a bullshit team. They probably,
Ace Bailey.
Probably Ace Bailey, maybe VJ Edgecombe, maybe trade the pick. Number 4, Charlotte, obviously whoever doesn't get picked between Ace and okay.
Yeah.
And then number 5, Washington. You got to look at these teams and just say which team is going to take Khaman before us. And it's like there's 4 teams that could. Brooklyn could, right? New Orleans could. Washington certainly will. Like yeah, Washington is going to take Khaman
What
Maluach.
position is the Washington looking for, though?
They're looking for defense. They're looking for length. And for me, if you're not going to get Cooper Flagg, I would assume with Alex Sarr at the 4, Khaman Maluach makes a lot of sense.
Really?
For Washington. Yeah. Unbelievable, man. This is a disappointing outcome for sure.
Don't be surprised if we pick CMB.
9 is too disappointing.
Well, the Raptors have had number 9 before. Do you know who they picked?
At 9? Which year?
Just historically, do you know who they've picked at 9 in NBA history?
The Yakapode.
Yep. That's one of them.
Yeah. And then Terrence Ross.
We also picked Tracy McGrady at number 9.
I think my pick from number 9 is Rasha Fleming, to be honest, or Noah Esenge.
You picked okay. I mean, that's interesting. So going back quite a few years, here's some players who were picked at number 9. And I'll start at number 9, 1991, Stacey Augmon, Clarence Weatherspoon, Rodney Rogers, Eric Montross, former Raptor, Samaki Walker, Tracy McGrady, Dirk Nowitzki, Sean Marion, Joel Prisbilla, Rodney White, Amari Stoudemire, Mike Sweetney, Andre Iguodala, Ike Diagu, Patrick O'Bryant, Joakim Noah, DJ Augustine, DeMar DeRozan. Okay. So, I mean, the Raptors have been somewhat fortunate at number 9. I mean, they've picked number 9 a few times. We've got Jakob Poeltl, good player. DeMar DeRozan was basically a franchise player. And Tracy McGrady, one of the, say, 100 best players of all time. We've done well at this position. Let us hope we get Khaman Maluach at this position. And you know what? I'll give you a silver lining because I know people are probably really bummed out right now. There's a chance, and I don't know if it's a good chance or whatever, there's a chance that the player you would have picked at 7 might be available at number 9 anyway. If my suspicions that the Raptors are really high on Carter Bryant and they want to pick him, if you would have picked him at 7, maybe he'll still be there at 9. Maybe it's Jeremiah Fears. The other benefit of this is the number 9 pick makes marginally less money than the number 7 pick. It's almost $1 million difference. So,
So now we can keep RJ. We can keep the whole team together.
Yeah. AJ Lawson, here we come. We can keep Chris Boucher. I'm so happy. Oh my god. I'm gonna drop the StreamYard link for anybody else who wants to come in and react or whatever. But
this wasn't what I was expecting. I wanted to at least be at 8.
I've said it for many, many weeks now. I expect us to move down to 8 or 9.
But Dallas had 1.something% chance of moving up.
Yep. 1% shit happens all the time, man.
We could just have gone for the plane. You said it that we should go for the plane and see what happened. We could have gone into the plane easily.
Honestly, what if we'd gone to the plane and done better in the lottery? I mean, shit.
Exactly.
No, you control what you can control, and realistically, the Raptors put themselves in a bad spot. But here's what I'll say. To everybody who wanted the Raptors to be that much worse, right? Look at the teams that were the worst. Who fell the most?
Utah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Utah fell 5 spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine being that historically bad and trying to lose all those games and then falling 5 spots. So the Raptors lost 2. The Raptors fell 2 spots. So
Wizard fell 4 spots too.
The Wizards also fell 4 spots.
Charlotte fell 1 spot. New Orleans fell 3 spots. Brooklyn fell 2 spots.
There you go. We got Tonius calling in. Tonius, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Well, you did warn us before, I think on Saturday, where you're fine with 7, 8, or at worst 9, and at least we didn't make it to 10, because I think if we made it to 10, the Mario behind you would have been torn to pieces.
I would never tear up Mario. That's a childhood.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't have gone that crazy. Okay.
I might have smashed my keyboard though.
Okay.
That might have happened for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, here's what we basically are going to do. We're going to just have to actually do our work, unlike these other teams, because they're probably panicking and falling apart. And well, we're just going to do what we do, and we're going to scout. And we're going to find the best person, best personality, and the talent that fits. Or maybe we're going to trade the pick and turn it into 2 lower picks, and then scout even harder, and then get 2 draft picks out of this one that are probably around the teens, and then maybe we get a CMB. And then see whatever we want actually drops, and then we take them too.
I think this guy is also there too, right? Derek Quinn.
Sorry?
Derek Quinn at 9.
You want him at 9?
It's possible. Somebody might want him and we can trade one too. You just got to pick the best talent at this point. You're not going to be picky.
Well, looking at the draft order, there are several teams, at least. I kind of weirdly enough, every time I did this in 2K, the Spurs always moved up. I don't know. They either moved up to 1, 2, 3, or 4 every time. It was just the weirdest thing. I kept doing simulation after simulation. I'm like, man, the Spurs are destined to move up, aren't they? A lot of teams that had a lot of really devastating things happen to them this year got a bit of grace, right? Joel Embiid, his career could be done. You've kind of lost a franchise player. I don't know what version of him is going to come back, right? As much as I hate Philly and as much as I wanted them to lose their pick this year, on the one hand, that was a very depressed fan base, and they got a gift today.
I'm glad they didn't get the number 1 pick. That's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, that would have sucked. I did not want Cooper Flagg in the East, and he goes to the West. So the West gets way better. A team that a lot of people probably thought, if Kyrie comes back next year, could already be good, is going to get even better, right?
I don't think you think Kyrie's going to come back next year. I doubt it.
I think he'll come back next year towards January, February. So when he comes back, boom, there goes Cooper's, perfect point guard to play with. If you're Cooper Flagg, this is a perfect player for him. No, I believe that I really wanted Cooper. I really think Cooper's going to be a really great player in this league. And I, for one, am really happy that he's going to play with really good players, because the last thing I want for this guy is what happened to LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham or guys like that, where they just sort of toil with these really low-ass rosters that tank and try to lose games. Let's be real. There's a lot of teams that are going to try to lose next year too. I didn't want Cooper to be on one of those teams. And you know what? I was one of those people that was really pushing against the Dallas Mavericks getting to the playoffs. I was like, why are you doing this? You could have a chance at Cooper Flagg. I went on the panel and I said this. I'm like, why are you guys going for the play-in? Because you could just miss the play-in and look, you'll improve your chances at Cooper Flagg. And people are like, come on, it's 1% chance, 2% chance. Oh, they're not giving you a result. They did the ethical thing. They won down the stretch. And weirdly enough, they were rewarded for it. This is back-to-back years. I just want to mention this. This is back-to-back years that a play-in team in back-to-back years Atlanta was playing last year. Yes. Atlanta was a play-in team last year that got bounced in the play-in. Dallas was a play-in team that got bounced in the play-in. And both years, play-in teams have won the number 1 pick. Lets you know that maybe ethics are back. Now, the ethics are back thing kind of makes you think maybe Philly shouldn't have gotten a top 3 pick, but I get it. Coach Mo, what's up, man?
Yeah, I was nervous, and I was like, it's irrational for my heart to be pounding this hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw the 9th pick, honestly, all I could think about was the 2023 draft. It just keeps haunting us, bro. Because I'm seeing Kaysen Wallace. I saw Derek Lively last year. Bilal Coulibaly looks amazing. The Thompson twins. And if we had any of those players, and then you just add the vets this summer, and we do the Detroit Pistons 2.0, we're at the home stretch. But we need one more guy. Hopefully we can get it at the 9th pick, but we need one more guy. We need one more guy that's in the top 4 for us. And the 2023 draft, to me, was it. And you're basically at the home stretch. But that year, I mean, I don't want to keep bringing it up, but that Jakob Poeltl trade, it's still haunting us. Now, maybe we can fix it with this pick. And if we don't get a guy on this pick, that trade deadline will continue to haunt this team. And it may be the reason we don't accomplish anything in this post-championship version of the team.
I just want to let you know that I ran this 2K simulation yesterday, and this is what happened in the 2K simulation. Now, granted, Dallas ended up at 13, but there is a certain team that moved down quite a bit.
And by the way, people are saying Jacoby's good, Grady's good, bro. The people I'm seeing, I saw Casey Wallace play. He's better than both of them. I'd ship them both today. I paid their flight ticket for Casey Wallace.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Hmm.
That dude is a second-year player playing against the defending champs.
See?
And he's looking good.
I literally did this 6 times yesterday, and 5 times I got Raptors at 9. That's why I was nervous today. 2K new, bro. 2K new. I'm not kidding. This is like literally from yesterday's little live recording.
We don't need a rotation-ish guy. No, we need a starter. Top 4, not a 5th starter. We need a top 4 guy on a playoff team. That's what this roster needs. It needs high-end talent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, there might be some high-end talent available via trade.
Yep.
You know, and maybe this pick could be included in that.
Because when you factor in, we need a high-end talent, and then there's the Emmanuel Quickley contract. So
right,
hitting on this pick will solve all our problems. We just need one more top 3, 4-ish guy on the team, and all our problems are solved.
Yeah.
But until then, everything else is just noise. It's just, you're just rearranging furniture.
Yeah. I ended up trading for the number 6 pick in the 2K simulation, but this is how the 2K sim went. I don't know, man. There's some players that could go up and down. We'll see. Obviously, I picked Khaman Maluach at number 6. No thought. What am I doing? There we go. That will never be. Sadly. Damn.
Bro, how many people were nervous when you saw Philly in the top 4 and you're like, oh my God, please, God, not the Sixers. But I do agree with you that Embiid's cooked, George is cooked. They're cooked. I don't know if both of them have another season in their bodies to go the distance.
I think they could be fine. I don't think George is cooked, to be honest. I
think he's cooked. He didn't look good at the end in the Clippers, and this year, it's another year. How are they going to get better? They're both past 30. I mean, George is well past 30 at this point.
Well, what about Nicholas Batum? Because Paul George was supposed to be that Nicholas Batum-ish replacement around the 3-point line and supposed to be at least long enough to grab rebounds. How's Batum just look so much more healthy than Paul George? I guess less injuries, but
you paid George $45 million a year to replace Batum. That's top GMing right there.
Because ChatGTP told him to.
Yeah, man. I wish life was as simple as 2K. There are 666 people in here. I appreciate if y'all like the video. We got to get going towards the playoffs. I do want to say big shout outs to all this community for, kind of going through this together. Kind of sucks for us in a sense, because obviously you would have rather number 7 or number 8 than number 9. But I'm saying in the end, who was drafted number 8 before Tracy was drafted number 9? Nobody remembers, right? Does anyone remember who went right before Tracy McGrady?
But Rob, I just want to say I agree with you. I mean, getting the 9th pick now, we need, I don't know, maybe Jabari Smith Jr. or Naz Reid or Jarris Walker. They need to get this pick and consolidate and get somebody that isn't getting real opportunity. Kuminga, somebody that's not getting real opportunity somewhere that has real potential. We need to scoop one of those guys too. We just need high-end talent. Somebody to break through. We need as many chances of people that can break through, that have a high ceiling. We need one more guy to top his ceiling.
Yeah. Certainly. I feel it. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get a star at number 9. I don't know if Carter Bryant projects to be a star. I don't know if Rasheer Fleming projects to be a star. We can certainly, talk about these players. And I think now that we are, Karen Hall saying, I'm remembering your theory that the Raptors weren't too concerned about draft position because they probably identified a talent who's a sleeper. I'm coping using that. I believe that's true. I mean, honestly, apart from Khaman Maluach, who I already, again, I know for the whole year we've been talking about Khaman, what a great fit he is with this roster, but I'm telling you, the playmaking is a real concern with him. Injuries could be a concern. The measurements are very exciting. Near 7'7" wingspan. I would have loved Khaman on this team. And granted, if you pull some strings with Clutch Sports, there might still be a way to get Khaman on this team. Who knows? Okay, who knows? Maybe there's not as much interest in him as I anticipate. Maybe some other players are going to blow teams away, and at that point, Clutch can move him a little bit. I doubt he falls past 7 at this point. I'm gonna be honest. Like, looking at this draft board, I very much doubt he falls past 7. So looking at that, I'm just like, who are the star upside guys? I don't know. Carter Bryant feels shaky as a star upside, but probably a very solid role player. Trey Johnson, could he fall to number 9 right in the Raptors' laps? I doubt it. But it's like, are there 9 players in this draft that you really like? Cooper is one. Let's say Ace is one who will definitely go before, even if I don't love him. Dylan is a third. That's 3. Let's say Khaman is 4. That's 4. Let's say Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe. That's 6. So now at 7, 8, 9, 10, let's assume there's at least one team that's going to go a little bit crazy off the board and maybe pick a Derek Queen or something like that. And they're going to slip somebody down to you. I just think the contingency plan is, worst case scenario at number 9, you're going to draft a Jakob Poeltl level prospect. Is that exactly what you wanted out of this year? No. But that's also why the Raptors didn't put all their eggs in this basket, right? They're not the Washington Wizards or Utah Jazz where they just punted the entire season with nothing to show for it. They have a lot of development and growth to show for it. They also got Brandon Ingram. I would love to get Khaman Maluach on this team. I would love to get, potentially get Carter Bryant on this team. But, at the end, we will never know unless someone hooks Masai Ujiri up to a lie detector who we pick at 9. Would it have been who we would have picked at 4? We'll never know. We'll never know. If it's Jeremiah Fears, how do you know Jeremiah Fears wasn't number 4 on their board? It's certainly possible. Every year we hear stories about, the Raptors picked, this guy at 27, but he was way higher on their board. They picked, Christian Coloco at 30, but he was like in the 20s on their board. The teams evaluate very differently. The Raptors think very differently. And you know what? There's a chance that we've been hyping up Khaman all this time and the Raptors already red flagged them. There's a chance that we've been hyping up Khaman Maluach and kind of downplaying Derek Queen when Darko Rajakovic has basically been like, Derek Queen for me 100%, and everyone else agrees. We don't know. And honestly, we won't know for a while who's going to be the best pro in this draft. But I will tell you, the Raptors have scouted this draft very well. And there's no front office in this league, apart from maybe one, that I would trust more than the Raptors picking number 9. So that's what I'm going to cope with. That's what I'm hopeful about. And hopefully that's what turns out. Yeah. Any final thoughts from anybody else?
Do the Knicks win?
I think another player that I'm thinking at 9, Nolan Traore has been really killing it.
Nolan Traore at number 9 would be that's ambitious, man.
It's not ambitious. It was ranked like top 5 before it was ranked higher than Dylan Harper at the beginning of the season, and he played at the league in Europe is higher that you're playing against men, and he really killed in the last 2 months. I think my side went to scout him 3 weeks ago.
Okay, well, if that's the pick, then that's the pick. I'm curious how you plan on fitting him into lineup.
We need a point guard and we need a big. So I'll go get him and find him.
You trust his jump shot long term?
He's shot 40% in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing that. But overall, with his form, do you trust it? Also, the Boston Celtics are up 11-4 to the Knicks. I expect the Boston Celtics to win this game.
Yes, I expect Boston to win the series.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Where's the
Coach Mo? You asked, does New York win?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think New York is going to win this game.
Neither do I. But
Yeah.
a little drama or another blowout.
I think.
It's gonna be closer.
I mean, it could be closer. I don't know. Yo, yesterday I thought the Cavs were going to win. And 2 minutes into the game, I was like, oh, I'm so wrong about this. Like, I called it. 2 minutes in, I was like, boop, nope.
Oh, my God. That 19-2 run to end the half was disgusting.
Absolutely.
I've never seen Miles Turner hit threes like that in my life. He was hitting step backs from beyond the line.
Hey, man, the Indiana Pacers are showing me something. And maybe it's not the worst thing in the world that the Raptors traded away their Indiana top 4 protected pick next year. Because maybe at this rate, the Indiana Pacers re-sign Miles Turner and they're like the second best team in the East next year. And that pick is in the late 20s. So maybe we got off it at a good time. Because I tell you, when we traded that pick for Brandon Ingram, Indiana was struggling a little bit. They had struggled. They look like they could be a little bit mid next year. And right now, they're not looking like they're going to be mid at all. So good stuff.
Trade looked even better for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how sad were you that the Nuggets lost?
I wasn't sad at all. I'm rooting for OKC.
Oh, you're with OKC that series.
100% I'm with OKC.
Oh, I thought you were going for the
For my countrymen?
Yeah.
I would love to tell you that I'm rooting for Nikola Jokic, and I'm always rooting for Nikola Jokic as a human being, as you know, as a father, as a philanthropist. But I root for Jokic all year and every year with Team Serbia, right? For me, that's his championship. Winning gold for Serbia will be his championship. What he does with Denver is Denver. Like, he barely cares about it. I certainly don't give a shit about it. I'm not from Denver. And frankly, I can't stand certain Denver fans. They're very annoying. And I don't want Russell Westbrook getting a ring either because I can't stand him either. So, you know what? That's kind of where I'm at on it. I think OKC is a very ethical team. I love the fact that the youngest team in the NBA also happens to be the best team in the NBA. That's pretty cool, personally. So
we're calling Shea's free throws ethical. I'm not. I don't have a horse in this, but you know, there's a debate about that.
I don't think he grifts any more than a lot of other stars in the league. I don't think, you know, I'm watching a lot of Jokic flopping. I watch a lot of Jalen Brunson flopping. I've watched, you know, plenty of Manu Ginobili flopping.
Harden
is the ultimate grifter of all grifters. So, you know what? I've lived in Canada longer than I've lived in any other country ever. All countries combined, United States, Serbia, Italy, France.
What about Jamal Murray? He's Canadian. Or are we still holding it against him for the Olympics?
But is he as Canadian as Shea?
We're still holding that against him.
Is he as Toronto man's as Shea? I don't think so.
Yeah, I've heard his dad. I've heard his dad speak. It's not Shea's dad. Yeah.
There we go. Right. So Shea is like the ultimate Canadian, in my opinion. He's Captain Canada for me. If Cooper Flagg or Anthony Edwards are going to be Captain America someday, and Nikola Jokic is Captain Serbia, well, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is absolutely Captain Canada. Okay. And for me, he's the greatest Canadian player to ever play. Sorry, Steve Nash, but to me, he's the best. He's the best to ever do it. He's the best I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I just love the guy. I think he's amazing. I have a lot of friends who, you know, came up with him, grew up with him, know him, speak glowingly about him. He's a very humble person. You know, I feel about him a lot of ways the way I feel about Scottie Barnes. Just good. It's good for the world when people who are good people do well. So happy for him. Yeah. That's my view. Yeah. Any final thoughts? Who do you, maybe we'll leave this off on who do y'all want at number 9? Who do y'all think will be there, and who do you want? FA, we'll start with you. Who you want?
I think I'm gonna. If I'm picking Rashad Fleming, 6'10", shoot 40% from 3, shot 40% for 3, and he has like 7'5" wingspan now. Just swing. I don't care.
Okay, cool. Rashad Fleming. All right. Any targets?
You saw LeBron's tweet, right? Laughing out loud. A guy's kind of saying this in his rig.
I mean, shit. He's right. I hate to say LeBron's right about anything, but he might be right. Like this feels so rigged, it's ridiculous. Like, of all the teams in the entire league, you know, maybe it's so rigged that it can't be rigged. You ever think of that? Like
1.8%. Jeez, come on.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, okay. Okan, any who do you want at number 9?
I mean, I can't actually project who's gonna fall to us right now, but I mean, Trey Johnson wouldn't fall, so I don't know, maybe Fears or Knoppel, maybe, I don't know.
Knoppel or Fears. Okay. Tonius, who do you want at number 9?
if Maluach can drop to us, but I'm going to go to the safe and go with Khan. I'll go with Khan Knipple at 9.
Damn. Okay. Cena, who do you want?
I would say Carter Bryant for me. Carter Bryant or Jeremiah Fears, one of the two.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all on board with Carter Bryant. He didn't measure out exactly how I wanted him to measure out, but I think long term, I think down the line, maybe this guy is Danny Granger. You know, he is a very special defender. That's not something I can say about a lot of players in this draft. Cooper is a special defender. Khaman is a special defender. Colin Murray-Bull is a special defender, and Carter Bryant is a special defender. I think Rasheer Fleming could be a special defender. I think Thomas Sorber could be a very good defender. And number 39, though, I'm really hoping that a big man falls to us. I'm hoping a big man that we like falls to us. But look, man, it could be worse. We're picking 9 and 39. We've
available. I mean, why not, right?
For 39, who do you think?
39, Cockburner ain't falling. Maxime Renault probably not falling. I'm semi hoping for Adu Thero from Arkansas. I think he could be a really interesting target there. And then maybe in the undrafted heap, I could look at Mackenzie Mbako. I think he's really interesting out of Indiana. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talented players in this draft, man. I won't lie to you. There's a lot of talented players in this draft, and yeah. Cameron Moore saying the Raptors should pick Daniel Wolf, if not Maluach. Yeah, I'm warming up on Danny Wolf, but maybe not at number 9. Yeah.
Number 9 is too high.
Yeah.
If somehow we get an extra pick around the 20s for whatever trade we do, yeah, I'd say go for either one of those projects or a Danny Wolf, whichever they're looking for.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate y'all. Have a blessed day.
Good night.
All right, fellas.
Cheers.
Good night. Thanks for covering.
Yep, my pleasure. Okay, we got another super chat here from KP. Palace traded AD to the Lakers, then got the first pick. Now, Mavs traded Luka again, the Lakers, and got the first pick. Can't make this shit up, man. You really can't make this shit up. Do a favor for the Lakers, and the basketball gods will smile upon you. That does seem to be how it goes. The shit works like a friggin' mafia, I tell you. But nevertheless, I tell you, I'm not severely depressed about this. I think there are some upsides. Okay, number one, I genuinely believe that the Raptors are higher on a player that maybe other teams aren't super high on. And if it wasn't going to be Khaman and it wasn't going to be Cooper Flagg, then honestly, most of my projections are guys who would be available at the 8 or 9 spot. The guys that I really love in this draft, the guys that I truly believe in at this draft. Let's talk about it for a bit here. Okay, hang on one second. Let me pull this up. So, I mean, actually, there's a really easy way to do this, and there's a really stupid way to do this. Let me do it in an easy way. Hang on. Pull this up. So this was my last mock draft, right? Now, this is before we figured out who was picking where, but nevertheless, this was my last mock draft. And this is not a big board. This was based on who was available, where they were available, etc. Right? So in this case, Asa Newell went number 9, but that's not because the Raptors had number 9. The Raptors had number 7, and they picked Khaman Maluach. But let's just say for now, because a team like San Antonio, Dallas, etc., have jumped up, now at the range of 9, you will be picking between the following players pretty much. You'll be picking between Derek Queen. Let's just take every player from 6 to 15 and say those are the players you're picking between, right? Because let's just assume that Cooper's going to be off the board, Dylan's going to be off the board, VJ's going to be off the board, Ace is going to be off the board, Trey's going to be off the board. Let's just say those 5 are gone. Gonzo. Okay, and I think Trey Johnson measured pretty well. He's tested very well. He's working out great. His pro day was awesome. So I don't think he's done his pro day, but his private workouts, from what I'm hearing, are awesome. So let's just say those guys, pencil them in as top 5 picks. You weren't getting one of those guys anyway. So now you just got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to get the 4th pick of the rest of the draft. Okay. Derek Queen, Khaman Maluach, Khan Knipple, Asa Newell, Noah Senge, Kasparis Yakuchonis, Carter Bryant, Colin Murray-Boyles, Rasheer Fleming, Jeremiah Fears. I'll take it one step further because of how he measured and also throw in Thomas Sorber in there. That's 10 players. Is it not? Am I crazy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 fucking players. I can also throw in Yegor Demon in here. And if you want, I can also throw in Nolan Traore in here, who went number 23 in this little mock draft. That's like 12 players, and you have the 4th pick of those 12 players. So really what you have to hope for the Raptors is you have 5 players in that group that you love. Okay? The best thing for the Raptors would be if maybe one of those players you don't love is one of the players that goes above. Now, again, based on how the draft lottery worked out, I could see Derek Queen probably going to Brooklyn exactly as I mocked him. So that doesn't change anything. Brooklyn picking at 6 or Brooklyn picking at 8 didn't change anything for actually Brooklyn. And by the way, this is the first time Brooklyn has actually had a lottery pick since 2012, which is crazy to say given how many bad years they've had, but they traded away all their lottery picks. So that's why they didn't have lottery picks. So let's just say Derek Queen is going to go to one of the teams above you. Let's say Khaman is also going to go to one of the teams above you. And let's just say Khan is going to blow teams away and he's going to go above you. So, okay, cool. You have your pick between a really big playmaker in Kasparas Yakuchonis, really toolsy wings who have really huge upside as playmaking defenders in Carter Bryant, Colin Murray-Boyles, and Rasheer Fleming, a really dynamic, twitchy point guard who maybe is a below-the-rim finisher in Jeremiah Fears, and 2 really big, long, athletic forwards in Asa Newell and Noah Senge. Maybe that's how it works out. And maybe if you really don't like any of those players, or maybe the right players off the board, you have 2 foreign guards, point guards, who are big playmakers in Nolan Traore and Yegor Demon, both of whom have been mocked as high as 5 and 4 at various points in this draft cycle. Don't get too caught up about it, man. There's gonna be 3 or 4 players in the top 10 who are gonna fail. You just don't want to pick one of them. That's really how I'm looking at this. I think the Raptors are in a good position. They've scouted the shit out of this draft. They were prepared for this outcome, and clearly, the reason that I say, what I said earlier, they chose to win games down the stretch. They chose to win. What does that tell me? That tells me that they've found maybe a Giannis in this draft. I don't want to say Giannis because when people draw an exact comparison, a 1-for-1 exchange of Giannis, but maybe they found their Giannis in this draft. Maybe they found their Shea in this draft. Maybe they found their player that they're willing to, or the worst case, they found their Bruno Caboclo in this draft, where they are willing to pick a guy 6, 7 spots above where they expect him to be. And that's why they were comfortable playing the odds out the way they did, because it didn't feel like the Raptors were in any dire need or any urgent, fashion trying to lose games down the stretch. It wasn't like, oh my God, let's inch closer. I really tell you, I was convinced based on Masai Ujiri's draft history that they would have loved Yves Missi last year, and they just passed him by. Yves Missi has a lot in common with Khaman Maluach in terms of the lack of playmaking stuff, the rim protection stuff, the athleticism, the size, the plus wingspan, all of it. Maybe they just don't want this type of player on their team. There's a chance. So look, best case scenario for me personally, the Raptors do like Khaman. They pull in a favor with Clutch. Other teams sour on him, maybe fall in love with other prospects. Khaman falls to us at number 9, and boom, you get your Jakob Poeltl backup, your Jakob Poeltl replacement at the same spot you picked Jakob Poeltl at number 9, and you're perfectly fine with it because you're going to pay him a little bit less than you would have had you picked him at 4, 7, or 8. But I'm telling you, just as a final closing thought, let's say you moved up to 4 and you picked Carter Bryant and blew everyone's fucking mind away. You were like, oh my God, I can't believe they picked Carter Bryant at number 4. What is this team doing? Ace Bailey was there. Khaman was there. Derek Queen was there. All these great players were there. They picked Carter fucking Bryant at number 4. And now you pick Carter Bryant at number 9. What's the difference? He's the only loser in this situation is not you. It's the only loser here is Carter Bryant. So look, I have a feeling the Raptors are in love with either Carter Bryant, Rasheer Fleming, or Colin Murray-Boyles, one of those players. I feel like it just fits what they want to do, especially Carter because of the shooting and Rasheer because of the shooting. I feel like those 2 players, especially defensively and everything they like to do, and those 2 players are not going top 5 in most situations. So it just feels like, you might see Trey Johnson as decidedly better than Rasheer Fleming. Maybe the Raptors don't. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be a very interesting couple of months now that we know where we're potentially drafting at number 9 and 39. We can hone in a little bit. I think the cool thing about drafting number 9, and I've mentioned this in a previous live, and I'll mention it here too, you'll have a really good chance to work out a lot of players. At number 9, you're a top 10 pick. You're a mid-lottery pick. It's not late lottery where all the top guys are going to snub you. I think there's a lot of, let's say, confusion about who goes where in this draft between 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're certainly not going to have Khaman Maluach saying, I'm not going to work out for you. You're too late in the lottery. And you're certainly not going to have Jace Richardson saying, I'm not going to work out for you. You're too high up for me. Teams are going to flock to this number 9 pick. Number 9, number 8, number 7, number 10. These are very appealing picks for a multitude of reasons because it's not a top 5 pick where the order is already cemented. If you have a top 5 pick, maybe Yegor Demin is not interested and Thomas Sorber is not that interested. Maybe it'll be harder to get them to truly motivated to come out and give you a good performance because they already know they're not going that high. Maybe Nick Clifford. Who knows? Maybe the Raptors go with Nick Clifford, and we're not even talking about it right now. Maybe Nick Clifford is their guy all along. I really don't know, man. I really don't know. Draft evaluation is very, very tough. But a Jeremiah Fears. Certainly Jeremiah Fears is not snubbing you at the number 9. So he's going to come in, and he's going to think he has a chance. Rasheer Fleming, number 9, would be a great place for him. Carter could look at number 9. I've been literally drafting Carter number 9 to the Raptors, usually because I end up trading for the number 9 pick from the Spurs every single time I do the NBA 2K thing. And I'll draft Carter Bryant number 9 every single time. So you know what? If we pick Carter Bryant at number 9, you're going to see no sad face on me, and the whole thing will have worked out, and I will support the shit out of this kid because I think he's awesome. Okay? So, look, again, I say this. You don't know what you would have done with 4 or 7 or 8. And if what you would have done with those picks is exactly what you do with pick number 9, this is a blessing in disguise. So that's how I look at it. I would have preferred number 1. Certainly would have felt a lot more comfortable at number 4 or number 7 because maybe, I feel very highly about Khaman Maluach. But look, probably at this point, the Wizards are going to pick Maluach. The Nets are going to pick Derek Queen. And you're going to answer your center questions either with Thomas Sorber or you're going to answer it in the second round. It's not the end of the world. All right. Sonny K saying, is Con at 9 a boring pick? Con Knippel is one of the best freshmen in the country. For the second half of the season, he might have been like a top 4 freshman in the country. Con was incredible last year. I'm actually very, very high on Con Knippel. I'm actually very high on Rasheer Fleming. I'm extremely high on Carter Bryant. I like a lot of players in this range. We'll have you covered tomorrow night for a conversation with the gentleman we talked to last time, which is Nick Thomas. And we'll have Nick come on. I believe he said Tuesday he was available. We'll do a live tomorrow, and we'll talk with Nick about deep lottery picks, deep draft range targets for the Raptors. We'll hone in on that number 9, who could be available. We'll probably do a mock for us. And Daryl saying DeMar was a nice pick. Yes, DeMar was a nice pick. Tracy was a nice pick. The Raptors have done very well at number 9 when they've been there. Jakob was a nice pick. The Raptors have not failed at number 9, as far as I remember. And to the earlier question, that little riddle that I asked, do you remember who was the number 8 pick before Tracy McGrady? It was Adonal Foyle. Number 7 was Tim Thomas. Number 6 was Ron Mercer. Number 5 was Tony Battie. I remember Tony Battie playing for the Boston Celtics. Do you remember Tony Battie playing for the Boston Celtics? Antonio Daniels, number 4, was a bust. Chauncey Billups, ex-Raptor, got traded several times. I think he got traded as a rookie, then got traded, again and again until he found his eventual home. Keith Van Horn was decent, but no Tracy McGrady. The second best player in that draft was Tracy McGrady. The first best player was the number 1 pick, and that was Tim Duncan. That was the 97 draft. And a lot of drafts have followed this, sort of thing where the best player goes number 1, number 2, number 3. Usually not number 2, usually 1 or 3. And then the second best player is like the 9th pick to 11th pick or 12th pick. We'll see what this draft brings. I'm not bummed. I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's what it is now. All right. Talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful night. Enjoy your playoffs. I will be on Player's Choice, the panel tomorrow again. And we'll be talking about the draft. We'll be talking about the results. We'll probably have some people trolling me about how the Raptors, tanked all this time and then ended up moving down 2 picks. It is what it is, man. Can't control the draft lottery odds. But what I say to everyone who was saying, you got to lose more games. All the teams that lost all those games were even bigger losers than the Raptors. What do you say? Talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Enjoy your night. Please like this video on the way out. And thank you very much to Recruiter Dude, as well as KP, and as well as there were 2 e-transfers that came in. We'll talk about them tomorrow. I don't have my phone on me right now, but there were 2 e-transfers that came in during this live. So thank you for that as well. Peace, guys. Enjoy your playoffs.